Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I'd like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting of December 17th, 2025. For information on council meetings and to participate, please visit everettwa.gov. We have a big crowd. Thank you. It's a special evening tonight. I appreciate the participation here. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Franklin. Here. Councilmember Bader.
Excused?
Councilmember Ryan. Here. Councilmember Vogely. Here. Councilmember Fosse.
Here.
Councilmember Tui.
Excused?
Vice President Zarlingo.
Here.
President Schwab.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Ryan to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand if you're able.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Councilmember Fosse to read the land acknowledgement.
The City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Jehob's people, and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes and bring about a future that includes their people, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you very much. We have some changes tonight on our agenda. Consent item number 3 and number 5 have been pulled for the agenda. And we'll be moving item number 26 to the end. It will be after item 28. So we'll move to old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for December 10th, 2025?
Councilmember Ryan, so moves.
Seconded.
Motion and seconds been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ryan. Yes. Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, well, it's a great night tonight, Mayor, and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, council and community. I have a few updates. First, a short update on last week's Snohomish River flooding. After Wednesday's flood warning, we stood up our EOC, declared a state of emergency, and started preparing for potential flooding. As you all know, we evacuated the animal shelter. Thanks to everyone who took an animal. We sandbagged around the water pollution control facility, the animal shelter on Smith Island, and we closely monitored the other riverfront areas. And though the river levels reached the record height that was projected, we didn't see the maximum water flow rate, which helped a lot. And river levels started receding on Friday. Our flood control infrastructure performed as designed. Dikes and levees protected neighborhoods and city facilities. On Friday afternoon, we transitioned to monitoring while shifting toward recovery and preparing for more unpredictable weather. Overall, we had very minimal road and facility impacts and no residential evacuations. I want to express gratitude to Snohomish County DEM for their ongoing support through this, as well as to our state elected leadership and federal delegation for helping us ensure that Washington secured critical FEMA support. And of course, last but not least, I want to thank our staff. Thank you to our emergency management and public works teams for your coordination and leadership. And thank you to fire, police, facilities, animal shelter teams, and our volunteers for their hard work and support during this response. Tonight, I'm also bringing forward the first 2 of what will be very many board appointments in the next few weeks. And so to start things off, to the Everett Public Facilities District Board, I'm asking for your confirmation of Scott Pattison to position 4 for a term expiring 12/31/2029, and Daniel Leach to position 5 for a term expiring 12/31/2029. I need someone to make a motion.
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Second.
Right. Motion and seconds been made. Any comments? Councilman Ryan.
Great, thanks. For the PFD board, I'd love to see in 2026 council liaison assigned to the PFD board. I think with the work that they do, and especially in consideration of the possible upcoming outdoor event center, I think it'd be great to have additional oversight from the council for the work that they're doing there.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Any other council comment? Okay, seeing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ryan. Yes. Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes.
And then earlier this month, we announced a leadership transition within our police department. Chief John DeRoos will be retiring at the end of the year. So this is his last council meeting. I want to take a moment to congratulate the chief on his retirement from policing and talk about the impact he's had. Chief DeRoos joined the Everett Police Department in 1998, coming from Whatcom County Sheriff's Office. Over the course of his career, Chief DeRoos was part of many important initiatives and programs, including rebuilding the Child Abduction Response Team, launching COET, and rolling out the region-wide Violent Crime Reduction Unit. He worked his way up in the department, becoming a deputy chief in 2018. And in 2023, I appointed him as our chief. Under his leadership, we've embraced the use of technology, implementing best practices, and expanded community engagement across the city. We've also become a regional leader in police staffing, having key units staffed up and more officers on patrol than ever before, with one of the highest per capita staffing in the state. In total, in his career, Chief DeRoos has spent more than 30 years in policing, which is truly commendable. Law enforcement is an incredibly challenging line of work. The weight of what officers carry, shift after shift and year after year, is often invisible to the public, but deeply felt within the profession. This is exactly why we're deeply committed to officer wellness, and the chief welcomed an officer wellness coordinator to our team at EPD about a year and a half ago, ensuring care, support, and mental health resources are part of how we operate, not just an afterthought. So on behalf of the city of Everett, I want to thank you, Chief DeRoos, for your 27 years of dedicated service to the community of Everett and your care for your fellow officers. We will certainly miss you, but your legacy will live on in the programs you created and the strong partnerships you built and the future leaders you've helped develop. Post-retirement, John plans to join a regional healthcare organization and spend more time with family. Once again, thank you, Chief DeRoos. And finally tonight, I'd like to thank Council members Fossey and Vogely. This is also their final council meeting as council members. So thank you both for your years of service as council members. I truly appreciate your passion and your dedication. You have both absolutely left your mark on the beautiful community of Everett. And even when we sometimes disagreed on particular issues, your commitment to making the best possible decisions for our city was always very clear to me. Councilmember Fossey, our true labor champion, thank you. I'm pleased you will continue to represent us and share all you've learned here in Everett with Olympia and be our voice. Former council members make great state leaders, and I'm glad we will continue to have you on our side. And Councilmember Vogely, you have never wavered in your advocacy that every person in our community deserves care and compassion. Thank you. I will absolutely miss your voice as our housing champion and fully hope and expect we will see you often as these critical issues arise across our city. So thank you for your service, and please don't be a stranger. I have no further comments tonight.
Thank you very much. So it's time for public comments. Just make a couple announcements. One, on the agenda, we're going to have an executive session, and it'll be 20 minutes, and it will be right after consent items. So normally, when people come here to speak, they either choose to do it at the beginning and just a general during opening statements, or they can wait for the specific action item also. So just want to let everyone know you're welcome to wait until that specific action item comes up, but it just might be a little longer. Or just want to give you a heads up. And I would ask everyone at least encourage everyone to participate here until at least after council comments. So no early leader. Okay, moving on. So we'll move to public comment. Angie.
Good evening, President Schwab. We have some written comments that we received, and I'm going to read the names off. And this first group is in regards to enhanced security program from Bill and Renee Wisdorf, Tom Hoban, Brett Wine, Kathy Rains, Julie, I tried to practice this, Kafalidis, Andrew Hall, Ellie Wood, Barbara George, and Peter Frazier. And then we received email from John Martin regarding the outdoor event center. And these were provided to council, legal, city clerk, and administration to be part of the record. And we do have two individuals online that we could start with for public comment. So I'll start with Brenda. If you could please unmute, turn your video on, and when you see the timer, you can start speaking. You'll state your full name and city of residence.
Okay, hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Okay, this is Brenda Bolanos Ivory, and I live in Lowell. And I'm calling to congratulate Council Member Fossey and Council Member Liz Vogley for your last night in service to the people as Everett City Council members. And your hard, constant work is like you've been running a marathon for years, and you're finishing the race strong. So during your terms, you were always asking the people what our needs are. It's a question that most people have never been asked, and especially in your diverse district. Your increased involvement in the neighborhood group and connecting them to support each other in an ongoing basis is amazing. You support libraries, safe traffic needs, small businesses, hospitals, and schools. And Liz, I especially worked really hard with you on police and jail reforms, talking with police chiefs, sheriffs, Prosecutor Cummings, and even the Washington State Police Academy in Burien. You stand for integrity and accountability, even when it's hard. Small reforms you suggested have made a huge difference. Mary, I'll never forget us calling an emergency, and we had 1 hour to house a family of 7, and we did it. And you just were in the trenches, and losing was not an option. So you're unstoppable. I want to say that you both worked with people in our streets experiencing homelessness and addiction and mental illness with your hearts on your sleeves. You went into the camps. You could often be found at social programs, volunteering, and doing oversight. Every neighbor is equally important to you. And remember years ago, Liz and I worked, you had steadfast determination to change the city of Everett charter, and 5 districts opened up possibilities for nearby neighbors to run for office. These areas had residents who weren't having political conversations and weren't asked to be in government. You asked them. That's a shift that I've seen from Mayor Franklin and the city council members sitting by your side. We've all improved our citywide outreach. Liz, your contributions, and Mary, your contributions have made the city of Everett's quality of life better. Your footsteps will be hard to follow.
Thank you. Next we have Laura. If you could please unmute and turn your camera on. And please state your full name and city of residence, and you can go ahead.
All right. I hope my audio is working. My video's having a little bit of a problem here.
Audio is working.
Thank you. My name is Laura Reed from Bayside in Everett, and this is to the City of Everett Council, the City of Everett employees, especially Public Works and our emergency personnel and volunteers, and also to the Everett Animal Shelter and all volunteer fosters. I want to recognize the great job that the City of Everett employees and administration has done during these back-to-back flooding disasters. Thank you for the technical skill, the 24/7 dedication, and the clear communication that helped Everett weather these historic storms. I am especially grateful for the behind-the-scenes work that kept us out of harm's way. I know it wasn't easy to stand out in the elements to keep dangerous roads closed, but those barriers saved lives. I was incredibly impressed by the effort put into unjamming the EV slough. That kind of technical, difficult work prevented even more devastating flooding in our area. These actions did not go unnoticed, and I am so thankful for the expertise and grit required to pull them off, and to everybody who was involved in that project. Seeing the updates with the drone footage monitoring the EV slough and the riverbanks in real time, and your quick response to the log jams and debris near our bridges was impressive. Even when the rain was at its heaviest, I felt safer knowing that you were all tirelessly watching the forecast and monitoring the river gauges. Knowing that there were dedicated professionals and volunteers staying awake through the night to track the storm allowed me to breathe a little easier. Please accept my deepest, most sincere thanks for everything you have done during this historic flooding. You left your own families and the safety of your homes to ensure that I and the rest of Everett remained protected. Your selflessness, your long hours, and your unwavering commitment to our safety represents the very best of us. I also want to acknowledge Councilwoman Liz Vogel's steadfast service these many years. I first got involved in housing advocacy thanks to her in 2019 during the Norton Avenue housing ordinance. Her dedication to Everett's marginalized community and her steadfast advocacy has inspired me to go further with my own. I wish her all the best in the next chapter. And to Mary Fosse, you are a champion for housing, and I will miss you too as council member here. But I know that you're going to go a long way. So I can't wait to see how everything's going to go. So thank you. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you again.
Thank you. And next we'll move to those in chambers. And we will start with Jane, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Jo Marie. Yes. And if you could please press the button on the base of the mic. It should go green. Okay, and then state your full name and city of residence, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
Jane Pack, Sammamish. Good evening, City Council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Jane Pack, and I'm the Executive Director at Snohomish County Legal Services. We are a free legal service provider serving Snohomish County. We focus on legal areas which impact your everyday lives, such as family law, individual safety, domestic violence, and predominantly housing. We received the City of Everett COVID impact funds, and I'm here tonight to report on how we spent those funds to serve the City of Everett residents through our Housing Justice Project program. Our Housing Justice Project program operates as a safety net for those that are at risk of eviction or facing housing instability. Our court-based housing clinic operates 5 days a week, every day of the week, and this is where we meet individuals literally on their way to an eviction hearing. This is where we give legal advice and screen them for eligibility to receive an attorney to represent them in their eviction case. We have also been able, with these funds, to offer extended services, such as attending administrative hearings to help preserve housing vouchers as well. And some of the housing issues we helped with include requests for housing accommodations, addressing uninhabitable housing conditions such as mold and infestation, and also limiting the damaging impact of an eviction record, just to name a few. But we are seeing unprecedented eviction filings. Snohomish County is currently the 3rd highest county in eviction filings. While we serve all of Snohomish County, 45% of our housing cases are from the City of Everett. With these funds, we have been able to continue operating at pandemic level capacity without pandemic level resources. Our goal was to serve 25 individual clients within a condensed 6-month period. And I'm here to report that we exceeded that number by 280%. I did the math. I think it sounds right, but we ended up with a total of 70 individual clients, and we still have a few weeks left in the year to serve, and I expect that the number will increase by the time we finish with this grant. And you may be wondering why we serve so much over, and it's due to several different factors, a few of which is increase in eviction filings and the housing crisis, and we're not seeing enough resources. And if not for these funds, these families would not have been able to receive the help to stay in their homes and would have likely become homeless or face housing instability. These funds have been critical to keeping our community housed, especially on cold nights like tonight. For that, I and Snohomish County Legal Services thank the City of Everett and City Councilmember Ryan for the opportunity to serve and help the residents of our community stay safe and housed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Councilmember Vogely and Councilmember Fosse.
Thank you. Joe Marie, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Jen. And please state your full name, city of residence, and you have 5 minutes to speak as well.
Yeah.
My name is. Turned it off. Can you press the button again?
Yeah.
There we go.
My name is Jill Marie Costello Muckeltio, but I'm on behalf or speaking on behalf of Cocoon House in Everett. And we also receive the City of Everett Impact Funds. And I am here to speak on how we utilize those. And City of Everett, we decided to utilize these for special needs and enrichment activities for youth in our programs. As many of you may know, funding for programs is typically very limited and for very specific items. So this was a really unique and special opportunity for us to use them to help enrich the lives of young people and help them with items that we wouldn't otherwise be able to purchase. And I may have said this, but we serve ages 13 to 24. So we were able to actually, this was really fun. We typically utilize our funding for housing and basic needs, documentation. We were able to really look into life skill building, special events, and kind of special needs, like unique needs that we wouldn't otherwise be able to pay for. For example, we were able to buy a sewing machine for a young gentleman who is really obsessed with sewing and had just gone into the fashion program at Snow Isle. He did his whole summer internship utilizing the sewing machine and is now started his own Etsy shop, has been designing all his own clothing. We also utilized it for all the homecoming and prom clothing, which is special. Like most of the youth we serve have never gone to a dance. So we were able to get the clothing. And even things like we got traditional wedding garments for youth who is Muslim and was just getting married, and actually next month when they turn 18. And we did it for all of our summer programming. So we sent the youth to Big Bounce America, Sandbox VR, High Trek, Wild Waves, Shack Art, Salish Sea Ceramic Studio. They went to the Pumpkin Patch for Halloween and a Silvertips game. And then we've also been able to use them for kind of unique needs regarding safety or living situations. We had several young people who'd recently left dangerous relationships, and we were able to use the funds to buy things like Ring cameras or special mechanisms for windows and doors to keep their apartments safe and relocation purposes. And then young people who may have children with disabilities, we're able to use special locking mechanisms for their doors or special medical things for their apartment that we wouldn't otherwise be able to pay for. And also we've been really investing in employment partnerships, getting laptops for young people, and partnering with local businesses so they can use those for employment. But it's been such a relief having these funds. We've been feeling pretty fortunate. I get to say no all the time, but recently I've been able to actually say yes and be able to grant things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to grant. We are very fortunate. We thank you, Everett City Council and Councilmember Ryan, for providing these dollars. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, if Jen could please come to the podium, followed by Paul, and please state your full name, city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak. And press yes. There we go.
All right. So good evening, council. And my name for the record is Jen Chong Jewel. I live in Everett, Westmont Holly neighborhood. So I'm speaking for the first time to express deep gratitude and appreciation for council members Fosse and Vogely. I have memories of when the both of you ran for your first terms and the excitement that I felt because as a city resident, I understood that a strong council was going to make my life and my son's life so much better. And so over the years, I have rested more peacefully knowing that we had strong council members who really did see each and every member of the community and fought for them. So I also have appreciation that for Councilmember Fossey, you will represent us in Olympia, and I will just continue to appreciate that. And then just a couple special words for Councilmember Vogely, because Councilmember Vogely is my district. And I have all the memories of meeting Councilmember Vogely just as part of my Westmont Neighborhood Association back in the early days, and her leadership and care for community then. But then also when she ran and was elected, and the listening sessions that she held regarding those who are experiencing homelessness, and then just over the years, having the confidence that indeed she was a fighter for the people, each and every member of our community. And so I just thank you again for all your years of service and what that took for you to serve. And then also, I appreciate that you'll just continue to be my neighbor. And I can, having great neighbors means the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Paul, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Craig. Please state your full name, city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, I'm Paul Gallivan, live in Marysville, Washington. So I'm here tonight to specifically point out Mary Fossey, Councilwoman. Congratulations on all you've accomplished for the Everett District 1. Your leadership on housing, environmental justice, and support for working families has made a real and measurable difference on the lives of your neighbors. Also, those unruly rooster owners out there that now have to pay for the victim crimes that are out there with just too much nuisance. I really appreciate it. Your passion on the podium has always been appreciated. But I had to write up a little something so I didn't just keep it all lighthearted. From securing millions of dollars for funding to clean up the Delta neighborhood and championing sustainability, public health, and equitable opportunity, you've shown what it means to turn a lived experience into a effective public service. So on behalf of the carpenters and the working people across Everett, thank you for your tireless service. You've got other roles, and like the mayor mentioned, the fact that Everett is your home, and also under the 38th district, we're going to get to see your still tireless effort and your still unwavering commitment to the people of Everett and the working class up there in Olympia on a regular basis. Here's a short session coming up that we really are going to be using your voice up there, and I really appreciate all your hard work. It's not going unnoticed, and I really appreciate you being on the dais when you were up there. There's been lots of turmoil off the dais and on the dais, and real life and fake life, right? Social media stuff. So the fact that you've endured all of this and gotten through your term and gotten to the finish line, we really appreciate that you put in that hard work. And Liz, I want to speak on you as well, but I've got a part to play tonight, and my focus is going to be on Mary. John will be up here later to talk, but I really appreciate you both, and I really appreciate the rest of the council members here tonight. You guys are all putting in tireless work that is highly needed for the voices here in Everett to make sure that we are equitably represented. And I see you, and I appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. Craig, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Scott. Please state your full name and city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
I'm Craig Scottall. I'm a resident of Everett, and I serve as president of Scottall Real Estate. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Thank you for your service. I'm here to express my support for the Downtown Security Program and to encourage you to extend funding for it. I have a few observations that I'd like to share with you about the program. First and foremost, it's working. Risk Solutions Unlimited has been a great partner for the Everett Police Department and the city's care team. They have provided a consistent presence in the evenings and on weekends that has significantly improved public safety. Since RSU began operating in June, police reported calls have declined by 27%. Second, the program has served as a force multiplier. With RSU providing consistent engagement with vulnerable community members downtown, it has freed up police officers to respond to higher priority calls over a larger area, including nearby neighborhoods. Third, this is a public-private partnership. Scottsdale Real Estate is also contributing to the program through donated office space and related operating expenses. We will continue to do that in support of the program on an ongoing basis. Our contribution is estimated to be roughly $10,000 per month. Lastly, over the next 9 months, we will be working to find ways to expand this partnership, possibly in collaboration with the Everett Station District Alliance, the Downtown Everett Association, and other private sector partners. The goal is to make the program self-sustaining so we can continue to improve public safety for residents, workers, and visitors. I encourage you to partner with us in this important program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Scott, if you could please come to the podium, followed by William. And please state your full name and city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Scott Hume. I'm a resident of 98201. I serve as the business development manager for the Downtown Everett Association, and I appreciate the opportunity to share the impact that RSU security has had on our downtown improvement district. The data from June to now reflects an important shift in our community safety. Since RSU began their patrol, there's been a 27% reduction in police reported incidents during their operational hours, which accounts for 487 fewer incidents compared to the baseline average. Between midnight and 4 a.m., incidents have dropped 31%. There has also been a 67% decrease in substance abuse incidents and a 45% reduction in disturbance calls. These numbers translate into a quieter and more protected environment. Additionally, this partnership provides support for our city's first responders. RSU staff are highly trained in de-escalation, which allows them to assist the CARES team while freeing our police officers to respond to other calls. Even our Downtown Improvement District Clean team have observed a considerable drop in early morning situations requiring intervention, along with fewer graffiti tagging, biohazards, and alleyway cleanups. Downtown is currently experiencing a season of growth with 4 apartment buildings under construction and another one on the horizon. We need to be ready to welcome hundreds of new residents. When speaking with current residents, business owners, and while recruiting new retail, I continually hear that a secure environment is the primary consideration when deciding a location. While there is a lingering sense of insecurity, that perception will change through consistent support. I recently spoke with a new downtown bar owner who expressed hesitation about leaving their blinds open during their closed hours because of a fear of damage and theft, in particular, the fear of a broken window. While the cost of replacing a window is a valid concern for a small business, we know that active lighting and open sight lines are the most effective natural deterrents to vandalism. By maintaining a reliable security presence, we provide these entrepreneurs with the confidence they need to better serve our community by creating a more walkable, inviting, and safer atmosphere for everyone. The sense of security serves as the foundation for Late Shift Everett, a new initiative led by local business owners to expand downtown activation into the evening through special programming and entertainment. According to Placer.ai data, Late Shift's First Friday program in November brought over 15,000 people downtown. A visible, consistent safety presence ensures that these visitors feel comfortable and in turn stay longer and support our local economy. The RSU team is a part of this success, providing peace of mind that allows our community, our downtown culture to succeed. I'm hopeful that I'm hopeful for the future and eager to maintain the momentum that residents, businesses, and civic leadership have worked so hard to establish. I invite you to approve the extension of this program through September 2026 to ensure downtown Everett remains a vibrant and welcoming home for everyone.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. William, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Corey. And please state your full name and city residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is William Parents and live in Silver Lake. That's a really hot topic at the moment. This is about balancing infrastructure needs with public impacts. Cities consistently face the challenges where upgrading infrastructure while keeping daily life running smoothly. The goal is to strike the balance, to improve what's necessary without undue inconvenience. Sometimes, however, the most effective solution is to temporarily full shut down while disruptive. In the short term, this approach can speed up projects and reduce long-term headaches for residents. If the I-5 to Port of Everett Freight Mobility Study, the I-5 Port study did not specify final decision on whether concrete or asphalt pavement would be used for the entire project in its public summary documents. Instead, analyzed several options for improving the corridor. Yes, a city would save money in the long run for converting asphalt truck lanes to concrete, primarily due to the concrete superior durability and low maintenance needs under heavy traffic. While concrete has a higher initial installation cost, its extended lifespan, 30 to 50 years, with fewer maintenance requirements, results in significant long-term savings. Of course, this would mean shutting down the road until the concrete cures, a short-term inconvenience that could yield long-term savings for generations and potentially easing city deficits for decades. This project is currently in the planning phase and for the timeline for design and constructions has not been released with the Everett City website. The Port of Everett plays a major role in concrete imports. As big as Seattle, we just don't have big enough, the same size conveyor belt. But the Port of Everett plays a major role in concrete imports. Washington State's capable of handling significant volumes of material. However, the specific data to determine its exact ranking against other ports is not publicly available because we're number one, really. They just don't want to put that on there. Cost comparison, asphalt is generally cheaper to install up front, often 30 to 40% less than concrete. Maintenance costs, asphalt requires regular sealing every 3 to 5 years and prone to rutting, cracking, and potholes. Concrete. I sent an email. I got in as much as I could.
Okay, thank you.
Got a closing statement?
Closing statement. A mayor has influence, but not unilateral power. Ports are complex public entitles and decisions about their operation, multi layers of governments and oversight.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next, if Corey could please come to the podium, followed by John. And please state your full name and city residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Sure. Good evening, council members. My name is Corey Armstrong Haas. I live in Everett. And I'm excited to be here. I'm going to try to speak with you and not hear that beep, so I'll go a little bit quicker. My role is I'm the Executive Director of Senior Services for Volunteers of America, Western Washington, and I'm here to express my gratitude. Although I didn't know this was going to be such a love fest for the two of you, so well, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm also grateful for the mayor, her staff, a lot of her team members who've supported the Carl Gibson Center since we began this public-private partnership. But more specifically, I want to reference Councilmember Ryan, who's been a huge advocate for us since we started, as has the mayor and many in this administration, and specifically around the COVID relief dollars that you helped allocate to us to support our work. If folks aren't familiar, the center that we're in, which is just a couple blocks away from here, used to be the Everett Senior Center. And in this reimagining of it, Volunteers of America created the mayor's office created a management agreement with Volunteers of America to reopen it as the Carl Gibson Center and focus on seniors, but also other populations. And for the first year or two, we were still trying to get our legs underneath us, and the funds that Councilmember Ryan helped allocate to the center really helped us serve more people. We inherited a beautiful building that we love, and a sound system that was from like the late 70s, and security cameras that might have been from around that same time. And so part of the funding helped with supplies and infrastructure to help pay for a revamped audio system in the main hall, which we can use to serve our populations, seniors, but people with disabilities, refugees, and immigrants as well. And then also enhance our security camera system and do a lot of different things to serve our populations. So even though it took us a little bit to find our legs, with the help of many people in this room, right now we're really on track to be financially sustainable and to serve a lot more people. So by the end of this year, which is just in a couple of weeks, we'll have served over 7,000 different individuals, seniors, people with disabilities, and others, most of whom are from the city of Everett. So thank you, Councilmember Ryan, for your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. John, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Angela. And please state your full name and city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is John Lehman, and I'm a resident of Lake Stevens, Washington. Councilwoman Vogley, I want to congratulate you on your tremendous accomplishments and dedicated service to the people of Everett. Your work on affordable housing, homelessness, and giving a voice to our most vulnerable community members have made a lasting impact on our community. You have been a champion for working families and those who too often go unheard. Your courage in asking hard questions and standing by your convictions has set a powerful example for the council. On behalf of the carpenters and all other tradespeople and working people across Everett, thank you for everything that you have done to make this city more just, more compassionate, and more hopeful for the future. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you. And Angela, if you could please come to the podium. Please state your full name, city residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Angela D. Filippo, live in Everett, Washington. I want to touch on a few topics tonight. First, thank you for passing the resolution regarding the outdoor event center last week. Looking ahead, we need to take holistic approaches to ensure sustainable success, and a commitment to local businesses and residents like that resolution is a welcome and necessary framework. And I hope to see more resolutions like it in the future. Second, the 26th topic tonight, the utility billing topic. Based on what was said last week, this seems like an issue of just current processes don't meet current community needs, which happens naturally over time, right? And the fact that customers are being charged at all when they pay the day before the day a bill is due, that feels really wrong to me. And it seems like several share those concerns. And the ordinance seems to adjust the process enough to reduce resident stress and duplicative processes, but not so much to create those potential issues that could come with delinquent payments. So I just hope you listen to those that are impacted by those policies. And listening is what leads me to the final topic, a few thank yous for council members Liz Vogley and Mary Fossey, especially since this is y'all's last council meeting as council members. So as a member of the Snohomish County Human Rights Commission and secretary of the local nonprofit Unidos, I have always known that I could depend on the both of you, and you, of course, Councilmember Ryan, to be just consistent and such strong advocates for transparency in local government and ordinances that honor and protect human rights in just all of the rights. And it's wonderful to see. We and just every group I'm part of and all the work that I do, from the social work to the leadership coaching to the transparency work, none of it would be possible without elected officials like yourselves supporting communities. Knowing the both of you, this council member role is not your only legacy to our community. You, Councilmember Fossey, will be going and representing us in Olympia. And Liz, you're always leading in just every community space you enter. I want you both to know that your time in this role, showing people that you can lead with the heart, not shrink your values for politics, and stay genuinely connected to the people you serve, has had an immeasurably positive impact on our city. I know I'm not alone when I say I'm excited to see how current and new members will carry on your mission in the future. Thank you both so much for just all you've done as council members and as people. And I just appreciate you both so much more than words can really say. And I'm honored to know and work with both of you. Thank you both for your service. Thank you all for your time, and happy holidays.
Thank you. And that concludes our public comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on our agenda is we'll go to council comments, and I get to start. Hi there, Don Schwab, Everett, Washington, and I have no timer, and I wanted to say that so bad. You know, it is both an honor and a privilege to be here before you guys and for the citizens of Everett. I stand before you today and celebrate and recognize a remarkable service. A service of dedication, commitment, energy, wisdom, and guiding our community. Your decisions have shaped our neighborhoods, strengthened our institutions, and ensured that Everett remains a great place where families thrive, business grows, and citizens feel heard, especially that one. Public service is not always easy. It requires sacrifice, patience, resilience, and yes, compromise. Yet you have carried out your duties with integrity and vision. On behalf of myself and our council, and the mayor and the city, and all of those that love this great place that we live in, I want to express my deepest gratitude. You have not only served in meetings and committees and phone calls and texts and discussions, but you've also been present in the lives of people around you and in your community, specifically your neighborhoods and the groups and your peeps. You're great listeners, you're great advocating for, and you guys are tireless workers. You've made this city better, and your legacy is woven in our fabric of our communities. So I'd like to present some plaques of appreciation as a symbol of respect and gratitude. While it may be a small compared to the years of service you guys have given and will continue to give, it represents a heartfelt thanks to every citizen who has life been touched by your leadership. And I know a plaque is kind of a pun, but I know it can lift the book, the story that you guys have of the continuing service. And as you turn this page at the end of the year, I can't wait to see how the book and your story in public service continues. So all of you in this chamber, will you please give a round of a hand for Councilmember Liz Vogley and Mary Fossey. And I'd like to go to continue council comments and start with Councilmember Liz Vogley.
I get to start? Well, second, I guess, right?
Thank you, first of all, that was a nice little gesture there. Going in front on that side, and I recorded you because we don't get to see our faces anymore from the people over there. So that's not my comments. Here they are. I woke up this morning to the glorious realization that it is actually Gothmas Day with DJ John Richards' morning show on KEXP. I was a goth as a teenager, so now you know. For all the feels that I'm having about this particular day, it fit comfy and cozy in my heart. And not only this awesome plaque, but I received a service award earlier this month at the volunteer appreciation, and I brought it with me tonight. And I would very much appreciate it if you would sign your name on it with the Sharpies I provided, not right now, but when we're in our 20-minute executive session, there's plenty of time, and just write your name on it. Don't open it. It's there. It's ready for you. And I'd really like that. So thank you for being here tonight, whether in person, online, or in your heart. I appreciate all the support I have received as a council member in the last 7 years and beyond. A lot can happen in 7 years. Not only was I the first person from the Casino Road area to hold this seat, but I did so 2 times out of 3 with votes from the entire Everett population, not just District 4. It took a lot of hard work to get here. I can't begin to name all the people who became my friends and comrades during this time, but I see a handful of you here tonight. And of course, some super duper, as you wish, kudos to my husband, who has put up with some stuff. And my kids, who didn't have a choice. They did have a choice on whether to be here tonight, and they chose not to be. In the early days, I held housing roundtables and sent out weekly emails about interesting and important stuff on the agenda. Every year, I would pour over the budget, particularly concerned with appointed positions, jail fees and usage, and the salary ordinance. Throughout the years, my office looked like a detective's workspace with Post-it notes and red yarn. I got a couple wins, like allowing registered cannabis retailers the space to actually open their businesses within the city of Everett, and getting the first PLA ordinance passed by a majority of the city council. Sadly, that second one was vetoed, but I'm happy to say that the administration and staff are now implementing PLA language in large city contracts, so it worked out. Hopefully, council will get a draft brought forward to codify in the next year. Other wins are less obvious, like the amount of open dialogue we share as council members here on this dais. I literally begged for that in the early years, and we have it now. And that's largely thanks to council president. And of course, just being able to talk, it's quite phenomenal. I didn't see a lot of it before I got here, and it's only happened in the past couple of years. So that was off script. One moment, please. And something that you may, that may have passed completely beyond your radar. When I first started making comments here at council, over there, not up here, the sheet we filled out required our full name and address. Then a person was asked to come to the podium for citizen comment. That never felt right to me, to have personally identifying information as part of the permanent record, especially in these days of doxing and domestic terror and violence. But also, we're not all citizens, and comments to city leadership should be open to every individual. So with discussion and changing the script that the president reads from, we now come to public comment and provide your name and city of residence. It's these types of changes that will keep our city moving forward towards a truly inclusive and welcoming city for all. I am proud of my contribution to the city so far. I am proud I dug in the weeds and asked questions and then listened to and used the answers. I'm proud that I lifted the voices often unheard and often stamped out. I'm proud that even in my sorrow, I came to you with truth. My time on council has come to an end on my terms, but I am not done here. And neither are you if you want to do more than survive. If you want to thrive, that's on all of us. So I expect to see you out and about this great city of ours. And remember, you are not alone. Thank you. So that was my speech, and I'm not going to give you a chance to do anything else. And I just want I want to say thank you to all the people that came and spoke, like William. And he's been writing us emails and he's been coming for quite some time. And I just really appreciate everybody that's always here, regardless of the ideas that you have and the opinion you present. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Fosse.
Just for clarity, I love plaques, so. So I don't know if you guys can recall back to our first meeting in person. It was May 4th, May the 4th. And it was our first in-person council meeting. And I dressed up as Princess Leia. And that was our first time sitting together at the dais. And I almost did that again tonight, but it's not May. So when I first became active with city council, I was advocating for my neighborhood. And we were just a group of neighbors that wanted our community to be stronger and safer and wanted our voice to be heard. And my work as a community advocate led me to being here. My neighbors had asked me to run when we got districts, and that journey has shaped how I've tried to serve for the last 4 years. And I didn't join council because I had all the answers. Far from it. I was really good at figuring out answers and asking questions and deep diving into things and figuring out what the resources are, who the people are that know the answers. But I just wanted to advocate for my community. And I believed deep in my soul that government is here to help people. And serving on this council has been one of the greatest privileges of my life and one of the most educational experiences of my life as well. I wanted to say thank you to the mayor. It has been great to experience all sides of your leadership and see how it has grown. And I think that dedication to public service and genuinely serving the public, along with the ability to change and grow and adapt, are like the two best qualities you could have in a leader. And you embody both of those. So it's been great watching you like grow in this role and just having so many successes, and especially doing it during COVID and all of these uphill battles. I don't think that you get enough credit for that. Paula, you have been a wonderful friend and the hardest working council member I have ever seen in my life. When you put your energy into something, you follow through and you make it happen. And I feel better sleeping at night knowing that you're going to remain on this council and you are going to lead us forward. And this city is very, very lucky to have you. Liz, you have been our moral compass and my sis in the good fight. Thank you for always being there and bringing us back to what our values really are and what we should be fighting for. It's always a good reminder for me. I appreciate you being that friend. Councilmember Zarlingo, I appreciate how dedicated you are to each of the issues. And some may be very boring to me, but you are very interested in them and you go into detail and thoroughly research and report on them. And I admire you for that. Thank you for caring so much about this community and taking your job seriously. We're lucky to have you. And President Schwab, since you have become the president on this council, it has been the most enjoyable 2 years of my time on council. Also, being able to watch you grow into that leadership space, I've seen the impact that you have had on the rest of my colleagues. It is a completely different environment, and it's because of our leadership. The first couple of years was very, very difficult on council. There was a lot of struggles. We weren't working together cohesively. And then as you stepped up into that leadership role, it really changed things. So I just want to thank you for your ability to listen and reflect and trust, and your leadership. I just very much appreciate it. To the staff and everybody else, thank you for putting up with me. And I don't know how you find time for it, Jennifer, or keep all of that in your head. But thank you for all the work that you do. I hope that the city and all the residents know exactly how dedicated you are to your job and our community here. And Deb, it's nice to see you. I miss you. We already gave our thanks to you though. So Angie, thank you so much for all that you've done for council and all the work that you put in handling all the inquiries that we get and the miscellaneous day-to-day. Appreciate all of your hard work. And all of the other staff in this city, we have the best staff. I know some of them were cherry-picked from other places. So good on you for getting some of those workers. But we have the best staff at our city. And there's like 2 things that I usually have a brag about. It's usually our quality of water. We have really good water quality here. And then also the amazing staff that we have. They just know what they're talking about. We may not always agree on every little thing, but they are really, really dedicated to their work and to this city. And we're lucky to have them. And quickly, I want to go over some of the accomplishments and successes that we had in the last 4 years that I could remember. Newsletters have been up and going and they're short and succinct. So thank you, Angie. We had our resolution to recognize the Marshallese and their Independence Day. Birth centers, we modified our code to remove the prohibition on birth centers actually being in downtown Everett. We had some successful advocacy for reducing some of the speed limits in our neighborhood areas. The Everett Housing Authority, that big agreement, that was a really huge success and was a really good example of when you bring community and you bring government together and they can actually talk to each other and have a negotiation and really like take each other seriously. That was an amazing process to see play out. We got a MOU for the last remaining upland wetlands for the preservation of that. You heard previously mentioned the rooster ordinance. And that was to allow for more permissive uses with permits. If you had 4-H or you had other educational like needs where you may need a rooster for some reason where it's not going to actually be a pest. So just for clarity on that, it made it for more flexibility to the type of community that we have instead of just outright banning things. Also included in there was essentially the banning of ear cropping and tail docking, which not a lot of people picked up on, but that was a pretty good addition in that policy. We also stood up firm for all of our nurses when they were facing a lot of short staffing at the hospitals and advocated for them with some good results to kind of come out of that. We had the Arlington Pride standing in support of our neighbors and our friends when they were facing armed intimidation and threats. And the whole council got on board with that to express their support. We had the PLAs and the apprenticeship utilization ordinances. And even though one of those got peeled back, it really set a precedence where I think the county followed our lead. And then the city continued to do a lot of great steps in that direction. So I think that the impact of that effort is really seen. We changed our own policies, accessibility and some of the remote access to actually reflect the fact that some of us are mothers. Some of us have, are still dealing with, aging parents or kids that are just little petri dishes and germs. So we have to sometimes have a little bit more flexibility for that public participation in the people's house. ARPA dollars got to send to Child's Drive, Farmer Frog, and Jackson Park improvements for better safety there, the Evergreen Arboretum, Domestic Violence Services of Snohomish County, Courage Chain Recovery Services, Everett Pride, the VOA Everett Hot Meals Coalition, Community Health Centers, Snohomish County, the school-based health centers. That's a pretty amazing evolution there. And then Planned Parenthood, and a couple of the other more recent and kind of big deals that I'm really proud of was the dual purpose approach to the stadium of including soccer. Early on, I had advocated for that, and I think that that really had laid out some of the success with that stadium. It's just like, got to consider soccer, otherwise it's not going to be feasible, and that really helped with the success of that. And last week, you saw the passage of the resolution for the Outdoor Event Center. And as my colleague was talking about, sometimes it's the little things that you don't see those changes. And as you changed how we were identifying people at public comment, I advocated for public comment to come before council comments, because that would give the public a chance to see if we are actually going to respond or not respond. And that was our way of having that kind of back and forth and being held accountable. So very quickly for future, some things that are left undone that I can't forget to mention. Council makeup, you guys still may want to address that at some point, looking at your at-large seats, maybe to be more full-time as something to step up to, and that could help with some of the management of the staffing issues. Looking at perhaps policy staff for council, because we don't have policy staff, that might be helpful. Because I previously advocated for a financial analyst, and that went really well, and he ended up working for the city. So that is something that I would recommend in the future when we have a little bit more funding available and a more stable budget. Committees, changing them to be more like workshops and establish the priorities and goals for the next year, and then also post them on the website. And I will still advocate over and over again that website really needs a revamp. So when there is some more dollars there, please make that more like, do that like committee of neighbors trying to access something, trying to go on there and find something and get that kind of feedback. The graffiti ordinance needs to be amended. Don't forget to do that, because I don't want any people doing chalk on the sidewalk to be wrapped up and doing graffiti and getting charged for that inadvertently when leadership changes or whatever, because right now it's needs to be amended. The no sit, no lie ordinance, convening the roundtable next spring to modify things, particularly maybe about the charitable aspects, food giving, and working on that. Public safety, I think we still need the SEPTED presentation for that. And the policies and procedures document, which I worked on a lot, I would still recommend to my council members to modify that. And if you want any suggestions on how to change that to be more permissive, I am happy to go over it in detail with you. And thank you lastly to the residents of Everett. Never underestimate your power. I am proof that an engaged and persistent neighbor can shape policy and have influence on outcomes. Stay involved, and remember that council members are just people too. We're your neighbors, and this can be a difficult job. And take my word that every person up here is doing it for the right reasons and has the best intentions. And that's why they're here. So avoid assumptions and lean towards kindness, but definitely ask those hard questions. And most of all, continue to build community. That's what's going to save us and our democracy. Thank you for the trust that you have placed in me. It has been an honor.
Thank you very much, both, for your comments. How about we'll go with Councilmember Ryan?
Thank you. I also have a long love list of things to share this evening. First, I wanted to start with a thank you to Jane, Jill, and Corey for joining tonight to share more about the COVID relief dollars. It was absolutely an honor and pleasure to provide that money to your organizations. And it's been great to hear about the good things that have come from that seed money. And I know it'll continue to blossom as the days continue. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you too to the staff, all the staff involved in the flooding response. I just kind of going through the Rolodex of departments in my head. I think pretty much every department was impacted and stepped up to respond to the flooding impacts. And so I wanted to second Laura's words of gratitude and acknowledgements. I think she did a great job summing it up, so I don't need to say much more, but there's a lot of hard work that went into the response and is still going into it. So thank you. This last Thursday, I attended the Everett Station District Alliance annual meeting and appreciated hearing the update from the mayor and from Ben regarding the stadium and from representatives from Sound Transit regarding light rail. I wanted to give a shout out to the Tips on their come from behind victory this last Saturday. And I was also glad to see Everett Figure Skating Club perform after the first period, which reminded me that one of the last Wintertide events coming up this year is their figure skating winter showcase at the Angel of the Winds Arena on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday at 4 p.m. And I hope to see you there. Like as I shared last week as well, thank you, Chief DeRue, so much for your decades, plural, of service and dedication to public safety. Everett is a safer community because of you and your leadership and your service, and we are very much going to miss you. I know soon to be Chief Getz has got some big shoes to fill, but we're really going to miss you here. So please come back and visit. Thank you. And thank you, Councilmember Fossey, for your amazing service to Everett and the City Council. It's been absolute pleasure to serve with you these past 4 years, and I'm so glad you will continue to serve Everett and Olympia. We are darn lucky to have you down there to continue to advocate for neighbors and housing and transportation and labor and all of the good things down on a state level. And so thank you so much for your service. Serving with you on council has shown me the importance of persistence, and I am very grateful. Thank you, Councilmember Vogely, for your unwavering commitment to saying the quiet truth out loud. I wasn't gonna cry, dang it. Okay, I got it, I can do it. Serving with you has made me a braver council member, clearly, and more confident in my voice. And you two together have bolstered my ability to be a brave, confident, and persistent council member, much to the chagrin of many folks probably in this room. So I am so grateful to you both for being able to have the honor of serving with you on this dais. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Zarlingo.
Several things. First, for my fellow council members who won't be here in 2 weeks, or maybe they will be here in 2 weeks, just coming from another direction. For Councilmember Vogely, we've worked together on a number of efforts and legislation, including the recent work on a manufactured housing zone. While we don't see things always the same way, it's always been clear that Councilmember Vogely understands what influences the quality of life for all Everett residents, particularly those in District 4, and most of all that she cares about them, especially those who face big challenges with few resources. And also with Councilmember Fossey, I've learned a lot from her, someone with a lifelong technical focus and generally inclined away from political affairs. I've paid attention to her activities both at the local and the state level. She's made productive suggestions to me and has led by example and never hesitated to share detailed information and perspective of just the kind that I need. So that's been a real great thing in the past 4 years. And also, I don't want to let it go out without saying, for Chief DeRoos, it's been really great to work with him and his team, including on the Regional Law and Justice Council that we've served on together for a couple of years now. His dedication and professionalism is a model for me. I want to commend him for his service, especially for the work he's done to set up the department and incoming Chief Getz for success for the long term. That continuity over several chiefs here, and I look forward to that for the future, is a real reassurance, I think, to the entire city. One or two other notes, donated blood yesterday at the drive held at our Public Works building. I want to thank the employees who took the time from their days and blood from their veins to give back to their community, particularly to our firefighters. In the short time that I was there were 3 of them there giving blood as well. And I want to encourage those of you who are able to donate. The recent storms and interruptions have caused several cancellations in some donation events. And yet the need for blood remains the same, maybe even higher. So it only takes about an hour, actually less than that. And I found the discomfort to be pretty similar to the vaccinations I got the week before. And on that subject, the last quote I'll have here is the author and journalist Sebastian Junger. He wrote The Perfect Storm and some other books. He felt that the core elements of being contributing citizens in your community, he identified 3 of those: voting, serving on a jury when called, and donating blood. And then one last thing, yesterday, Mayor Franklin and I attended the ribbon cutting of the Net Shed Restaurant and Fish Market down at the waterfront. Really gratified that owners chose Everett for their newest restaurant. I think that's a vote of confidence in the city and the port. Congratulations to the Port of Everett for their leadership and investments in the huge range of things that are the Everett waterfront. That's from me, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your comments. I too wanted to acknowledge Chief DeRoos and his wonderful and amazing career. When he first came to Everett, he came from a different department, but it was like he grew up here and fit right in. And I personally saw his the way he treated those in need, his customers, those out on the street, with just amazing patience and kindness. And he projects a sense of security to those around him. And then later I worked with him on the emergency management team, and I saw a person look beyond just the ground level, but more of a strategic and a leadership role, and just saw him grow in that position. And it was amazing to see the development. And then, of course, working with him in this position, for a person in the twilight of his career, he embraced technology and new ideas. And I know, because things are constantly changing, and I know Chief Getz will have to deal with all those new ideas and new things coming. And then also, what stuck out the most with his career is his care and love of the staff and their wellness. And as we all know, the emotional and physical needs on our staff and police officers are just incredible. And so for him to pay special attention to that is amazing. So thank you for your service, Chief. Okay, quite a night so far. We're going to get back into regular business now, a little more normal. And we'll switch to administrative report.
I don't have anything to update right now. I'll have comments on an agenda item later. And from staff's perspective, thank you to Councilmembers Vogely and Councilmember Fosse for your service. Look forward to working with you, Councilmember Fosse, as you just have one job representing us in Olympia. And Councilmember Vogely, I do hope that we see you back in this room, or that you send an email or a phone call our way when you see something that is important to your community coming forward. So thanks to you both.
Okay, how about our city attorney?
We're asking for the final executive session that council members Fosse and Vogely will have to sit through, at least for now. It'll be 20 minutes pursuant to RCW 423110 1B and 4230 110, 1I3 with no council action to follow. And Chief DeRusse has been, I speak on behalf of everybody, both civil and criminal in the legal department. It's been a pleasure to work with you. And hopefully you warn the next chief how difficult we are.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move to our consent items that began with 18, but we removed item number 3 and number 5. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the consent items.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, motion and second to approve the 16 consent items. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely? Yes. Councilmember Fosse?
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, now we'll move into executive session with no expected decision, last 20 minutes, and we'll give about a minute for our transport time. Okay, thank you. Executive session is now complete. With no action as announced, no further action from that meeting. So we've had consent items, executive session. We'll go into item number 19, proposed action items. First reading, Council Bill 2512-88. Adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Pedestrian Safety, RFB, Everett Avenue and 79th Place Southeast, Fund 303, Program 136, to accumulate all costs for the improvement. Third and final reading will be January 14, 2026. Is there motion?
Moved. Second.
Motion and seconds been made.
Is this a proposed action item?
Yes.
Yeah.
First reading.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. You know, it's been quite a meeting. Thanks for jumping in there. Scott, I'm glad you can make it and throw me in there. All right. So it's been read in the record. Are there any questions or comments from council? Okay. Then third and final reading will be January 14th. Thank you. Scott, you missed all the first part. So we're in the business part. So ready to go. No, I'm glad you brought it up. All right. Okay, first reading, read in the record, Council Bill 2512-89. Adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 4010-24 entitled Walter E. Hall Park Community Connections Path. Third and final reading will be January 14, 2026. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
Comment.
Yes.
I don't see him out there, but let's see. We've all heard about it before, but I'm just super excited, as you already know, about the Walter E. Hall Park Community Connections Path in conjunction with the PUD and all the art and the solar panels and being able to, there he is. Talking about the Community Connections Path. Let's see, and now I've lost it. So I'm just excited that it's coming up and that you all soon on January 14th will be accumulating all the costs for the project. It's come about. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to item number 21, Council Bill 2512-90. First reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled I-5 US 2 interim ramp improvements. Third and final reading is January 14, 2026. Are there any questions or comments from council? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to our action items. Council Bill 22, or I should say, item number 22, Council Bill 2511-82, third and final reading, amending an ordinance relating to closing a special improvement project entitled Everett Smelter Drainage. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay,
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
all right. Any questions or comments from council?
I'm always there for smelter drainage.
Or not surprised? Okay, thank you. That was good. Yeah. All right. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse?
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Of course.
President Schwab?
Yes, okay, action item, agenda item 23, Council Bill 2511-83. Third and final reading, adopt an ordinance closing a special improvement project entitled WFP Air Scour Blower Building Replacement. Need a motion.
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Seconded.
Okay, motion and second's been made. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse?
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes, okay, item number 24, Council Bill 2511-84, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance closing a special improvement project entitled Citywide Bicycle Wayfinding. Is there a motion?
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Second.
Motion second's been made. Are there questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse?
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, item number 25, Council Bill 2512-86, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Garfield Park Playground Renovation.
So move.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Motion and second's been made. Are any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, item number 27, approve a resolution adding the resistance at 1702 Rucker Avenue to Everett Register of Historic Places.
Move to approve.
Second. Go ahead.
Councilmember
Okay.
Ryan seconds.
Okay, are there any questions or comments?
Just to, as the liaison to the Historic Commission, just wanted to share my gratitude to the commission for their lengthy discussion about this matter and careful attention to the parts of the structure that that do contribute to historical significance of the city and those that don't. So it's very delineated in the resolution itself, but just want to give a shout out to the Historic Commission for their good work on it.
So I guess I have a question for you. How does that affect the parts that maybe don't reflect the historic committees?
So the garage was added later on after the house itself was built and was determined to not be a contributing structure of the overall building to historic purposes. So it's the house itself that will be part of the register minus the garage, but still as a whole, it's a beautiful home. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
And then one more detail, I guess.
Okay, good.
The home is on a corner, so the frontage of the house, you don't see the garage. It's kind of around the corner along the other street. So you wouldn't look at it and think, oh, that part is contributing and that part's not. You don't actually see the garage. It's kind of tucked away behind the corner.
Okay, thank you very much. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, we'll move to item 28, authorize the mayor designee to sign a petition for vacation of a portion of County Road, Monroe Camp Road, and to take all the steps necessary for the vacation, including delivery of payment to the Snohomish County of the appraised value of the vacated property.
Move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
okay, motion and second's been made. Are there any comments or questions from council? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, item number 26, Council Bill 2512-87, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance relating to due dates for utility billing, amending EMC 14.04.160 and 14.16.650 and 14.16.660 and 14.16700. Jennifer, do we have an update before we go into council?
I did send some statistics, answers to questions from last week by email earlier, and just wanted to add that our Public Works Utility Billing team is committed to continuous improvement, and we have done a number of improvements to utility billing over the last couple years. So we've done a major billing system software upgrade, added automated phone payments capability, online bill pay that's integrated with that billing system. We added an online leak adjustment request form, an online senior disabled discount rate form. We've got new web-based meter reading software that can utilize multiple meter readers, instantly download the data, and it helps log historical consumption to show customers when they're in the field. And then working with Catholic Community Services Assistance, we have implementation, and we've been able to increase the benefit to $700 for those in need. And we have a fee removal policy, so that automatically removes delinquent fees associated with CCS approved clients. And then I think importantly, for folks that have been frustrated with utility billing, we are currently exploring a payment scheduler for customers that are not on auto pay. And something that I think will really be helpful, but we've just got to get the IT challenges resolved. It's exploring free notifications when an account is a couple days past due via either a text or email or a reverse phone call. So council, you can trust that we'll continue to improve our procedures and make things better for residents, businesses, and all of our utility customers. And then we have lots of staff here to help answer your questions if you have further ones.
Okay, thank you. Before we go any further, do we want to start off with a motion and put it on the table? To pass it
Okay.
for council discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so motion second. So further questions and comments from council? Councilor Fosse.
So my understanding with staff was their concern was about changing the, they supported the rest of the changes, but their concern was about the change from 20 days to 28 days.
Yes.
And I went through and I called a variety of different, I have a somewhere I think that maybe we could meet in the middle on it. I called around to PSE and a variety of other cities to find out what their kind of approach to it was. And while there is some variation on the earlier due dates, it's when it becomes delinquent is the key thing. So we could still have that earlier due date as long as the delinquency does not start at that date. It starts later. And that's what I was seeing in some of these, like PSE, their bill due date is 3 weeks from the date mailed. And right now they're in no late fees because they're still in COVID protocol. But if they were to have their late fees back to the normal things, it would be 1% past due, and that's 10 days past the due date is when it's delinquent, and that's when the late fee starts generating. So it's not right at the due date. And then when I was calling over to Rubentino, they say that it's, say they send out the 1st, then it would be due, the 15th. Of December, and then it wouldn't be considered late until like the end of January. So they have a significant time before it actually is considered delinquent before they tack on a $1 late fee. Looking at Tacoma, they have a minimum 30 days after generation before it becomes delinquent, even though that technically theirs is a 15-day like ours. It's not delinquent until 30 days. And then on the 31st or 32nd day, then they send out a notice of a $3 fee. So kind of similar to ours, they just have it extended out there farther. Spokane said that they have it's 20 days is their due date, but they have a 10-day grace period. And then after that is when they start charging the 1% fee. So a lot of these cities that I've been going through, and I can list more and more, Olympia and Renton and whatnot, it's similar where the delinquency period is farther out. So while the due date is still earlier. So I am fine if you want us to amend it to have the due date still be on the 20th, so you guys can do all your normal processings, but the delinquency and the ability to fine is not prior to a 30-day window. So that would be, and I keep looking at you, Ryan.
Councilmember Fosse, is there some language that could change? Did you have something also?
I'm assuming that the language would change to where it's crossed out and it says like 28 instead of 20th a couple of times. We would just probably change another line and change the cross out the shall be considered delinquent, and then have another line under those two clauses that clarify either whatever language, end of month or 10 days later or whatever statement, then it would be considered delinquent. It could be considered delinquent on the 20th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I?
Ryan Sass, Public Works.
Well, did you have a question specifically for Ryan?
Would that satisfy
Okay.
some of your concerns?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that from our perspective, the past due notice is very valuable, and it does get people to engage with us earlier before their accounts get large and out of control. And one I'm not going to read, I had my statement ready to read, which I probably won't read in entirety now, but one of the things we've observed is that it's only been since May since we've been doing the past due notices. And while we've been doing that, we've seen on-time payments go up by 25%, and we've seen shut-offs decreasing month over month. So it's been successful, and we've reduced the number of the more expensive door hanger fees that are threatening to shut people off. So there have been benefits from it. I think what it comes down to really is the best timing for it. And it sounds like that's kind of where you're moving toward rather than changing the payment due date.
Yeah, so if you want to keep the payment due date at the 20th, as long as you're not assessing fees and they're not considered delinquent until like maybe, I don't know, give a 10-day grace period. However, that needs to be worded, whether that's 30 days or whatnot. I'm fine with however you want to word that. So the delinquency starts at 30 days, not at the 20 days. And that way you have, then for the door hanger, at least they have to be delinquent for 30 days. So you have a total of 60 days from the bill generation date to, instead of like 37 days if they were going to get the door hanger. That
Okay.
makes sense?
Yeah. Staff, would you like to make some more comments on that? This is very intriguing myself too.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, this would be something we would want to spend some time on and try to come up with that optimization. I recognize there's a desire to try to get it all done tonight, but from staff perspective, I think it would be great for us to be able to spend a week and figure out exactly where that date is and adjust our practices accordingly.
So the 20th is the date that I heard from you that you wanted to keep.
The payment due date of, the 20th would be great, and it would be good to correct the old EMC codes.
Yeah, because right now they don't match. So my amendment would be to make sure that both of those codes still match, leave it as the 20th. And so the other one doesn't say 15, so they both say 20th, and then strike the delinquency part where it says, and shall become delinquent thereafter, or it shall become delinquent 10 days following thereafter. So that way it's essentially towards the end of the month. That's when it would be.
Monthly billing cycle then at that point. So.
And that's just for the assessing of the fees. You can still send your, past due notices and stuff like that because your due date is still there. And that seems to be the practice that I'm finding in all of the other comparable cities. For the most part, they have like a 10-day grace period before they consider it delinquent. And the goal is to like not nickel and dime folks. I don't care if you're sending out a bunch of notices to them saying, hey, pay your bill. Hey, you pay your bill. If you're finding that that's helpful to them, I just don't want them to incur a bunch of charges unreasonably and have to call in to get those charges taken off, and see if we can go in a little bit more of a consumer friendlier kind of approach and see if that might help during these kind of difficult times.
Why don't we get some other comments here? Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yeah, I've just been doing some of my own research on this and learning a little bit more. I guess part of what you described last week also, though, was that there is a cost for the people who get physical bills, like me. There is a cost to sending out a reminder that way.
That's what they used to.
Sorry?
They used to do that still.
Yes, I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to have an unintended effect where we don't recognize that cost somehow, or that we don't account for it separately. That's what I'm concerned about here, is just that we were trying to be more rational and more gracious about this and more realistic, but also recognizing we're dealing with humans. And as you had said a few minutes ago, there's the reminder has helped us a lot in terms of reducing that delinquency. Because when that's happened to me in the past, it's just because I got the bill buried in something else. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do is, but if you remove the fee
With the
from
$5, the fee doesn't get removed. It's just delayed 10 days. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's.
Councilmember Foss, maybe a note that as we're all trying to think on our feet a bit, so if the $5 notice was removed, we would lose that piece of like the improved behavior that,
well, no,
kind of the reminder.
Just moves it down the line, 10 days. It doesn't take it away. You guys can still do what you want. They just have to be, takes it down 10 days
But does
farther
that
along.
then have an effect on the customer recognizing that later and doing something later, but that then being too late to be incorporated in the next bill?
Their next bill would have, well, provided that if they didn't pay, their next bill would then have their old amount due, their new amount due, plus the $5 fee.
And if they had paid after that reminder in that time, whatever it was,
And
it might be so close that they would get a bill that wouldn't reflect their recent payment, which happens sometimes, but I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out.
And this is what PSE though, I think that's what they do is they add it to the next bill. It's a common thing. And so I don't think our customers are as freaked out about that because they know how that kind of works because our other utilities do it that way. And Rubentino does that, adds it on there. And they
Okay,
even show you like.
That was my concern, is if we were pushing something back, then are we going to?
Okay, let's, thanks for the discussion. Let's, how about we hear from some of the, okay.
So we got this really pretty picture, all of us, and I'm wondering if day one is day one, if day 20 stays day 20. Okay, day one, bill created and sent. Day 20, bill due. And then I think Councilmember Fosse says day 30, if not paid, past due notice sent.
Optional, they have.
And then I think Councilmember Fosse said day 60, the final notice of bill due notification
Since bill origination.
since bill origination.
So this would be day one, the bill is created and sent. And then this is 1 month right here.
Yeah.
And then if they are delinquent for a month.
So what would this, because that might make it easier to just wrap my head around. Well,
yeah, if I may, if I understand it correctly, we might still send the past due notice on day 23 or 4, but it wouldn't have a $5 fee associated with it, and that would show up on their next monthly billing. So hopefully what we would hope is that the past due notice still has the effect of them getting the bill paid before the end of the month, so that it doesn't show up on their next bill, but then they would get a $5 late fee with their next bill. That would be
If they haven't paid it by then.
right.
By the 30 days.
So, because they're not delinquent yet. So they would be delinquent by the time you generate the next bill.
That's the crux of it. So do we get to send the $5 late fee thing that works for landlords and maybe help some folks be like, oh God, this month I left the bill in the stack, or not? And it sounds like not, but we would like it.
Well, my understanding was after 30 days, they would not get a $5 charge until 30 days.
Yes.
And that would make,
And I'm not mandating a $5 charge. That is still within your policies, but they would have to be, to be considered delinquent, it would be 30 days since the bill generation. And that seems to be in line with how other cities our size are operating. With that earlier, due date between, day 20 or day 25, but then they give that grace period so that it ends up being like a month. And that's places that are doing monthly billing.
okay, and just procedural wise, I mean, it's good discussion here and I really appreciate that. But how would the language look in the ordinance if it needed to be amended? What would it be more specific? And I'll refer to David Hall. What kind of, can we pass something on intent?
So on
What?
the language, I can
Okay,
say specifically on
Yeah,
it.
if you're wanting to amend what had been proposed to reflect what you're talking about, we need a motion. We would need a motion to amend to include your language, which I've not written down, but I'm sure you know what it is. And discussion on the motion to amend. And if that passes, then you would have the amended motion in front of you and a vote on that, or you can table the amended motion until next week.
Can I ask Ryan first, is that a more agreeable approach to keep your 20th due date and to just have the grace period for delinquency?
It's certainly beneficial to keep the 20-day payment period.
Okay.
Most all of the monthly water utilities are in the 15 to 20-day range. And what I'd like to do is share some of what staff does during that time between day 20 and 30.
Okay.
Because I think it's beneficial. So the time frame between the payment due date and the preparation of the next monthly billing cycle is, roughly 10 days. And during this window, there's many critical business processes that our staff take care of. These include selecting their meter routes, reading and verifying meter readings, looking for inaccurate or missing reads, performing corrective maintenance, preparing, uploading, and printing bill runs, they run about 1,400 bills per working day. Make sure the billing works for our customers, and so they do things like adjusting the bill runs so that they don't impact weekends and holidays. They stabilize the due date so that everybody's bill date is close to the same each month, because we're billing people not once a month, we're billing people once a month, but every day we're billing people. So they try to adjust that and stabilize so it's predictable for people when they can expect it. And then they're posting payments to the proper account, posting late payments. And so that was the primary concern, that reducing those business days between 20 and 30 wouldn't allow for us to do that. The other part has to do with the past due notices and the $5 fee. We did note that, we have nearly 30,000 individual city accounts, and over 90% are paid on time and don't receive a, $5 past due notice. The value of the notice is that property owners, some property owners did contact us. They value the notice because it helps them understand if their tenants are behind and they can keep up on it. So that's a benefit. But really the big benefit we're seeing just in that it's reducing late payments and it's reducing the number of shutoffs that we have to do. And that's our goal. I mean, like I said last time, we don't want to collect a $5 fee. We don't want to collect a $52 door hanger fee. Those are the cost of doing those services. We're just recovering the cost. We would much rather get people's account current and never bill them a fee. So, we certainly support correcting and keeping both water and sewer bills at a 20-day payment due period. We appreciate the potential changes that you're proposing. We don't have any concern with the proposed language that you added, and remains delinquent for 30 days. Most of the time, you've looked at this, and the day 40 currently, that's the earliest possible that we would shut someone off, although that's not typical, because small accounts, we typically don't shut off that early. So I think our average is more like 58 days or past due, which is like day 78. So it's adding the remains delinquent for 30 days isn't really a problem. Although if we add a bunch of time up front, then plus the 30, then it might become a problem. So I want to make sure that we understand, the impacts before we adopt a change.
Okay, any questions? Councilman Ryan.
Great, thank you. So the mention about how the $5 fee and the $52 door hangers are mostly a cost recovery fee. I'm encouraged to hear about the changes and automations for reminders to customers that, with the reverse phone calls and the texts and whatnot. So it seems like that's definitely going to be less than $5 per reminder.
Yep.
So I think I'm not quite sure what my point might be, except to tie those two ends together, that there might be an opportunity to not have to worry about the collecting a $5 fee if that process is automated, when that process is automated coming down the pike.
Yes, and good evening, Council. Sean Bridge, Public Works Finance Manager. When we're hoping that our move to the EMB moves us a little bit closer to the heart of our IT network. Where we're at now at the Public Works campus, our network is Byzantine, antiquated, and unreliable. And that's really kind of negatively impacted us moving to IVR and reverse and text messages and things like that. But in consultation with some of the vendors, and I do have Sharon Bishop, who's our utility billing supervisor here tonight, we get for a flat fee, I think it's 5,000 of those messages built into a very, very small fee. So because the cost recovery aspect of the $5 notice and the $52 door hanger, those are real and they're significant. You're actually doing something that takes staff time. And with the automated notices, once we get up here, IVR and text messages and reverse calling, we would anticipate that those wouldn't have any charge. So we're expecting those to be, just absorbed as part of our software package that we use in our utility billing software and not having a fee.
Mayor, do you have a comment?
Yeah, there's a lot we're getting into the detail of like process and procedure that I really want to urge us to recognize that our staff are often the experts in that area, but I absolutely understand that we want to be compassionate and provide grace to our community, especially in these trying times. And so what I think I've heard from Director Sass is that the more expensive part of this, pushing that out, is not a problem. Like pushing out when we do the door hangers and the timeline for that is not a problem, or is that a problem? So that's like that we're comfortable with that being pushed out, but that it is very important for our staff to have this 20-day and the $5 warning, because we're seeing that as productive. It's also a minimal cost. It's not like an excessive cost. And it's enough of a reminder to make people go, oh God, I got to pay that bill. And no one wants to shut off anyone's water. No one wants to pile these like big fees on them. And that, pushing that part of the timeline out, but keeping the other part of the timeline the way it is, or at that 20-day, aligning the two. So it's rather than 14 and 20, it's like 20. And so I'm wondering if that's a place where council can meet the staff in the middle.
So that's what my amendment.
Okay. And do we have the actual wording?
So what my amendment would be, and I want to say it out there before I make a motion to do it to make
Yeah,
sure.
go ahead and say the motion, and then I'd like to get Councilman Ryan and Zarlingo's input. But
Okay.
let's get the language started.
Okay. So do you want me to?
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
just say the languages.
Do you want me to make a motion or? say
No,
the
let's just say the language.
Okay, so it would be striking on the first edit where it says the 20th to the 28th. It would be striking the 28th and leaving the 20th. That's the billings. It's
Section 1.
yeah, section 1 there. And then at the end of the sentence, after shown on monthly billing and put in 10 days thereafter shall become delinquent. And that doesn't change anything as far as like prohibit you from sending out those $5 thing. We're already delaying the other back end of the door hanger. So you still have ability after that to send those reminders about the bill. And then you actually have additional, like on the bill, you'll be able to show a $5 late fee. And then you could send your $5 notices, like, or you're already collecting the money for the notices that you would be sending, a few days after that anyways. Does that make sense? So it would go out on the bill, because that would be $10 approximately later than your due date. And that's when it's becoming delinquent. They haven't paid it yet. So it's a $5 late fee, just like the notice would have been, $5 late fee on the bill. And then you still have time after that to send another paper reminder notice if you want to do, and it's already paid for. And then the door hanger thing is already pushed out another week or so. So we're just delaying the timeline a little bit. It doesn't actually like take away from your ability to send those reminders and do everything. It just shifts it all down about 10 days or so.
Okay, so I'd like to get a couple more comments, and then if there's an amendment to the.
And then the language is similar on the other section.
Okay, so let's have a little more comments, and then we'll go to amendment. If we need, okay? Yeah, but from staff. Okay. Do we have amendment? A motion to make amendment. Do you have a comment first? Go ahead.
Right now, Ryan, if someone gets to the point of being disconnected, turned over to collections?
Yeah, they
Alright.
have, eventually, I mean, they have, an additional time to pay and correct that before they're sent to collections.
Is that what your staff behind you is saying?
We don't send people to collections who lien the property.
Gotcha. So we ultimately do have a high collection rate for unpaid utility bills. Is that correct?
No, those are not tax liens, correct? Those are property liens. So eventually we collect
Eventually. Okay.
and the property sells.
Even,
essentially.
even from tenants, because the landlord ends up with a lien on his or her property. And that's why they're very interested in having their tenants pay their utility bills.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good question. Thanks. Okay, do I hear a motion for amendment?
I move to amend, striking in section 1, 28 and changing that to 20th. Back to 20th. And then after monthly billing and put in 10 days thereafter shall become delinquent. And then in section 2, strike 28th and put in 20th. And then after and, strike if not paid and put 10 days thereafter shall become delinquent.
Okay, so motion's made to amend. Is there a second?
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to amend Council Bill 2512-87. Are there further discussion on the amendment? Councilmember Zalingo.
As amended, then have we got something that is not shifting costs to other people who are that we're still incurring by sending out the notices? And have we got something that will work with our billing system and not be a disruption that we can't handle with our staff and our processes?
Yeah, I guess what's unclear to me is that if the 20 days is great, if we then say it's not delinquent for 10 more days, then it's not delinquent till the end of the billing period. So then it's unclear whether we would be able to send a past due notice to remind people so that they can pay them before the end of the month, before the next billing cycle. Because
I mean, that would be what I would cite some clarity as well, because it sounds like the past due notice doesn't show up as delinquent, but past due is something that it's a mix. I think for some people it's a distressing event, but for a significant number of people, it's also something that gets them to move and it alerts the landlords. So I'm trying to reconcile these things.
And Councilmember Ryan.
Great. The way that what I'm hearing from Councilmember Fossey is that the 10 days is the grace period, but it's not prohibiting a past due notice. And that for what I'm hearing and how I'm understanding it is that the past due notice is separate from an official delinquency categorization of the person's bill. So it wouldn't, so anywhere between those 10 days, a notice could be sent that, hey, don't forget about that bill that's on your coffee table. On the 30th, it will be delinquent. And then that's going to really start a timer. Is that, so it's the 10 days is a grace period that has flexibility for the department to send a reminder of some sort.
There's nothing in here that prohibits you from doing that. My hope would be that there would be more efficiency in just putting the $5 charge on the bill that is being generated and then using the subsequent time after that to remind them and send those types of like notices, because you have more time before the door knocker now to remind them to pay their bill. But if you want to send it earlier, if that is your prerogative, there's nothing in here prohibiting you from doing that.
I think we definitely understand the intent of the amendment. And I don't think that we will determine tonight that your intent is 100% reflected in the language. And that's okay. If we can't do the process that we want, We can always talk about it again in the future, but we totally get your intent and the desire to allow the operations and procedures to proceed just as they have been.
So I have a question for you. If we do pass this as amended and it needs some different language changes, I would ask that you would come back like right away in January before the next billing process if we need to make some alterations.
Sure.
Was that, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to ruin your Christmas break, but if that's the case.
Well, there's a lot of other folks in this room that have to do that work. So,
Okay.
but thank you for that.
All right. Any other questions or comments on the amendment? Councilmember Ryan.
So if it does pass tonight, but then there's a need for a change in the new year, is that a hiccup for the department to like meet the new requirements and have to pivot again to make changes? in,
Yes,
like, a couple of weeks?
absolutely. Okay. But you're the council.
Well, can we make this?
Councilmember, actually, Councilmember Bader first. Thank you.
So is the intent of this then that the $5 fee isn't able to get added till 10 days after the 20th day?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, for normal people, it'd be 30 days, right? Sorry.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
But then I think we would potentially be sending that notice for its reminder benefits, but not getting compensated for it. It would have to be, that cost would be shifted
That's
elsewhere.
right. So that is an issue.
But that's previously what you guys were doing anyways. Like that was our previous practice until about 3 months ago.
Am I?
It's right. So 5 months ago, we
5
did
months ago.
change our practice, which has resulted in more folks paying their bills on time. But we could change the practice back.
It doesn't change the practice is what I'm trying to say, though. It just pushes it out a little bit because everything's being pushed out a little bit. It's just giving a little bit more grace. It's not changing the practice. It is actually making your code actually aligned with each other because right now the numbers don't even add up as it is.
Okay, we're on the discussion on the amendment itself. We have not voted on the amendment. So Councilor Vogel, you had,
This is not about the amendment.
okay. So right now we have an amendment to vote on. Is there any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, now we are on the Council Bill 2512-87 as amended. Councilmember Vogel.
With all of this, also in our most recent utility bills, and I think what we just voted on last week was a change in, oh wait, this is utility rates, but are we also going to 1 month billing where that hasn't been the case for a while, like ever?
We went to 1 month billing about 10 years ago, I think.
Oh,
Probably second quarter of 2015.
well, you're welcome. I just muddied that up a little bit. I will look at my bill again. Cause yeah. That's all for now.
Okay, okay, so we are now on the amended Council Bill 2512. Any other? Councilor Zarlingo.
Does it make any sense to, if there's an intent to pass this, to delay the implementation of it to give us a chance to hash out some of these details more? I mean, that's kind of my concern about this. There are just trade-offs in this because it sounds like we have, with a modest change in terms of the fee and the reminder, we've improved situations for the city and for some of our residents and for landlords who have a thorny job as it is. So I'm concerned about the knock-on effect.
It doesn't change. The amendment we just did kept their system the same for the 20th day. Like that's what they use currently. The only thing that it changed was now they can't send out an immediate 5-day charge or a $5 charge for we're adding this on a couple days after the due date. They would have to wait 10 days. So it doesn't actually like change their current billing system as it comes to the 20th day. It kept that.
Yeah, question for David Hall about if we can actually make change an implementation date. We can put one on here. Okay. Just making sure, right? Any other comments on the amended motion? Councilmember Vogel.
No, we already did. Oh, the amended motion. So
Yeah,
that's
we're on the
whole
amended
thing.
motion and
Right.
discussion, yeah.
Having been paying bills for a really long time. And hearing that the time commitment that is currently practiced in utility billings is really working for not only the department, but also a good percentage of the people that are late, but not supremely late. I'm really moving towards thinking that what is currently working is currently working, and I would like to allow them to continue it to work. Cause like it sounds, and I know because I have missed paying my bill, and not just water, other things too. And I get 2 water bills, a sewer and a regular water, and it's wild. And also seeing that like the read date is 9/16, the present date is 10/18, and I'm not getting billed for that water until 12. And like one is $112, and then one is $83. It's just the amount that you have to pay for water changes considerably depending on, so this is a really big deal. And I imagine that people working in the utility department have more of an understanding than I do. And I appreciate also the intent, but I think I'm ready to not change what's going on.
Okay, is there any other, Councilmember Bader?
I think I'm echoing what Councilmember Vogely said as well. I must say I'm frustrated that we haven't been able to implement more of the better billing already. Maybe it's just the circumstances of not being able to get you guys over in the EMB, Everett Municipal Building sooner, which is way life is, but so I'm frustrated we haven't gotten these improvements already, but I'm worried about doing this now when we're on the cusp, hopefully, of improvements that would mitigate a lot of these problems. And also I want to say, appreciate all the work you guys do working with entities like CCS and others to help people who can't pay their utility bills, or need help paying them. So I think that's a real important piece of this, and appreciate what we do. And if we need to, help allocate more to that or what have you, that I think is a good thing to focus on. Thanks.
Councilmember Ryan?
Thanks. Can you please remind us of the rollout timeline for the new system, new billing system and practices and whatnot?
I think that's determined by when we move to the EMB and the bandwidth of our IT folks.
So they're moving into the EMB in January is when the team starts moving over. I thought they could just all pack up their stuff and just head on over, but it's like a full process to get everybody set up at their desks. And
See our hallways, right?
as much as I say, let's do it now, it just takes time to get everybody set up. And so it'll be over the course of a few weeks, then we should have the team over here
By the end of January.
by the end of January. Yeah.
And that bandwidth will help. The IT folks have told us that old switches and whatnot may be part of the problem. There's also, software that we'll have to make sure works and testing and all of that. Because when we roll something out, it's a lot of work for staff. And so there's a lot of testing that goes into it before it ever rolls out to the public.
Okay.
So is there a possibility then to have these changes roll out with the new system?
The
Like when we're talking about implementation dates, if like an implementation date could be contingent on the new system and like it all just sort of
I think
goes on out together.
we're on, at one point, Ryan said the word 6 months, but maybe he meant like 9 to 12, just to be careful. I don't know if that's the kind of, anyways, that's a potential rollout for an improved system. Maybe by the end of the year, end of 26 or halfway through 26. I don't know.
Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Fosse?
So just for clarity, where this practice has changed 5 months ago or so, and then we had a lot of constituents reach out, people who were disabled, people who were renters, people who were struggling with this. And we're having difficulty with the short payment windows that seemed overly aggressive, how much we were fining them and giving them penalties. And by investigating and looking at our other sister cities that are close to Everett, we are more aggressive in our fining. So originally where I had wanted it to be due at 30 days, I adjusted that. It's still due the same time. It doesn't change when it's due at all. It just says you can't tack on a $5 fee until you give them a little bit of grace period so that it matches the other cities. It's not a huge change. It's the same. The amendment we just did changes it so it's still in line with their system. It's just saying you can't tack on this huge fee. And it's the second part of the amendment is not something that they have any concerns about. So it isn't a huge change. And I don't care if you guys make this, implementable in 3 months' time. That's fine with me. It's just right now, our code, we're not following it because it's inconsistent. One of them says 20 and one of them says 15 days as it is. So we still need to correct it. It's not as big of a deal now that we had that amendment on changing it. It's only the $5 late fee that it makes a difference on that.
Councilmember Domingo.
So I guess from that standpoint, I think I would move to delay this at this point 90 days, giving us a chance to both get moved, understand the new systems, and then decide at that point if we want to move forward with it or if there are further tweaks needed.
So when you said for clarification, what are you asking to?
I'm asking for delay implementation of the amended motion motion.
You want to delay the implementation date in the motion?
Implementation date.
Amend the ordinance to
Yes.
set an implementation date,
Okay.
3 months.
Yeah, I just want to be clear for the record. 'Cause you didn't say it first. Okay,
So-
there's a motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, if that's a motion, then I'll second.
Okay, there's a second.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have, we're gonna need to add language to have a 90-day implementation date. Do we have a specific date?
Not 90, becomes
today?
effective in 90 days.
90 days from today, or when the clerk registered? Okay, be 90 days from today. Okay. So any discussion on the amended motion? Councilman Ryan.
Thank you. I would also ask that whichever applicable committee meets that right before the 90 days, that month or whatnot, I assume it would be maybe probably Parks and Built Environment. If we could have a update at that committee meeting, I think that would be helpful to make sure we're still on the right track.
Okay, any other comments on the amended motion for the added 90-day delay? Councilor Baker.
Just looking for, make sure we vote on that proposed amendment first.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah. And a tweak on that, perhaps a month before that, so that we get a chance to.
Well, that would be, I would just say as the future president, I'm sure the council, we would make that happen. So, yeah. Any other comments on the new amendment with a 90 delay? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader,
Voting yes on the amendment to add the 90-day delay on implementation.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, now we have Council Bill 2512-87, and we have one passed amendment that includes some language changes, and then we have our second one that has delayed the implementation from 90 days from today. Is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay. We have one more comment.
One more comment.
Okay,
The very first and only legislation I passed unanimous, it wasn't unanimous, because I came back because somebody had made a motion and an ordinance passed. And then, okay, I'm making not any sense. Somebody that voted yes, if they wanted to change it later because it was just not okay, can come back and be the one that says, I'd like to change this ordinance. I don't want the ordinance to change, but it's still possible for it to change if it's just like, you guys, this is not how we thought the intent, it's not the intent that we thought it would be. So let that just be known that there are still possibilities for change because this is legislation.
Okay, thank you very much. And,
Just real quick, Council President,
Yes.
Since I wasn't here earlier, I just also wanted to make a public comment or thank, in my comments, thank Councilmember Vogely and Councilmember Fossey for their service on the council, which I know you all did. And just personally, Councilmember Vogely, I appreciate often there were tense or moments when there could be tenseness, but you brought levity to our discussions, which I really appreciated a lot. So much appreciate that. And Councilmember Fossey's been really neat having another council member. I don't know if the public knows, just 3 blocks away from my house. And especially when I got on the council, the locus of power was Northwest Everett. And for several years, especially when the mayor was over our neighborhood, the locus of power was the Delta Riverside line. And I thought that was really cool that we were the locus of power. So anyhow, so again, thanks for your service. And we'll miss having you here on Wednesdays, and I'll probably be envious of you thinking of the days when I will be here on Wednesdays. So anyway.
okay, and thank you very much. And tonight is our last meeting for the year 2025. And so we'll see you January 7th. So no further business, meeting's adjourned.